696,000 dead Russian men. Well, no one really knows exactly how many have died in Ukraine since Russian armed forces and the government do not report the numbers. And that number, 696,000, comes from the West and from Ukraine. Yet, inside Russia, no one is demanding to know the truth. No one is even asking. No one is protesting. No one is necessitating to bring Russian men home. If you happen to find yourself in the middle of Russia now, the chances are you will not see or hear anything reminding that Russian men are invading Ukraine and fighting in Ukraine now. The only visuals remotely reminding of fighting are billboards and advertising in large cities for more men to join Russian armed forces. They say to protect the motherland. Other than that, zilch, nothing. You will not see anything. 696,000 dead. And everyone is acting as if they never existed, as if everything is fine, as if there's no one fighting right now. It's because Russian state is buying lives and souls of Russian men for pretty penny. What I'm about to tell you, you will definitely not hear anywhere else in the Western media. It'll blow your mind. So get ready. Howdy, howdy, friends. My name is Konstantin. Welcome to Inside Russia. You will not find at this channel that explains usual Russia, where usual Russia is explained by the unusual Russian me. You will not find any BS, lies, propaganda. What you will find is truth, common sense, and logic, and some emotions too. And the longer this war continues, the more emotions there are. The topic today is really hard to talk about. Even hard to think about. Once I start talking to people in Russia about it, they shut me down. It's too painful. It's too painful even to talk about. One of those things just to avoid in conversations. They tell me from Russia, the less you know, the better you sleep. And that is very true. Except for, I think about it all the time, and I don't sleep. I got sick with Bell's palsy exactly because of that. Lack of sleep and too much stress. My heart constantly bleeds. So I think it's important for you to know what I have learned. There are two types of questions I ask myself these days. First type is the questions I can answer. Some are difficult, some are easy, but I can't find answers. Research, common sense, logic, other experts, lots of analysis and thinking, and answers come. Second type is the questions I can't answer. What's inside Putin's soul? How Russia's top officials, they know exactly what's going on. How can they sleep at night? Why have Russian people given up power over their lives to someone else so easily? Why do they believe propaganda's lies? Questions like that. And the question about Russian men serving and dying is definitely on top of these unanswered questions, mysteries, things I cannot explain. I think in the beginning, I was the only one in Russia who started demanding the answers of how many Russian men died in Ukraine. I was I don't recall anyone else doing that. Remember 2022? If you follow me for a long time, you must remember my early live streams. I made live streams, tough questions to Putin, and I kept asking over and over again. Not just here on YouTube, I do things besides YouTube too. Russian government answered 3 times. March 2nd, 2022, March 30th, 2022, and September 21st of 2022. Those were the 3 dates the answers were given to us. And the latest number from September 21st, 2022, 5,937 Russian men died. That's a lie. The mobilization was announced on that day, on September 21st. Hundreds of thousands of Russian men started fleeing Russia. I fled too. I remember the manhunts and arrests, the violence applied to the ones who were to be mobilized. I remember everything. Putin was running out of men and he needed to send many more to the meat grind. The official number of people mobilized in late 2022 was 300,000 men. There also was unofficial information. There have been many more people mobilized, but there's no way to know it now. Perhaps in the future, definitely not now. Those were just the rumors. The mobilization was a straightforward process, meaning it was us against them. They were after us in many ways. The police patrols stopping us on the streets, the mobilization officers coming and knocking on our doors, the manhunts they were applying to us, we knew that we were targets. We dodged, we ran, we hid. It was like this. We either would outrun them and outsmart them, or they would get us, pack us up, and send straight to the front lines. That was how it worked in September, in October, in November of 2022. Crossing Russia's border was the salvation. Around 1 million men crossed Russian borders in late 2022. After they achieved their goal, 300,000 or whatever the true number is, they slowed down. Putin announced that the mobilization was over. But he lied, as usual. He didn't sign the executive decree officially stopping the mobilization. You see, he signed the decree starting the mobilization on the 21st of September, but he never signed stopping it. And on May 18th of the following year, 2023, the Supreme Court of Russia issued the resolution number 11 that is called On the Practice of Considering Criminal Cases by Courts on Crimes Against Military Service, paragraph 2. That document noted that the period of mobilization, partial or general, begins with the date and time of established by the relevant decree of President of Russian Federation and ends with the date and time of cancellation, termination of mobilization, again, with when the President of Russian Federation signs the decree terminating the mobilization. Thus, the Supreme Court actually confirmed that Vladimir Putin was lying, that mobilization was not terminated, since the decree was, cancellation decree was not signed, or it wasn't the decree that announced mobilization was not canceled, or a separate was canceling it was not signed. So at the time, I thought that what I called hidden mobilization would continue. And that was very straightforward. Putin needed new people every single day. He still needs new people every single day. So I thought that the intensity of mobilization would continue. And I was wrong. Official mobilization slowed down. It continued. Don't be mistaken. The mobilization did continue. It is happening even right now as I speak for over 2 years, 2.5 years now. But it's not as intense as it was in late 2022. They were thousands mobilized every hour. Now, probably hundreds every day. That's not what it was in fall of 2022. And this is a very important moment, okay? This is when the dots fail to connect. Logic and common sense stop working here. On one hand, we have a large number of Russian men killed every single day. The government is silent, but the soldiers aren't. About a year ago, Russian government forbade Russian soldiers own mobile telephones with video and photo cameras in the front lines. The soldiers wouldn't document the crimes, and they wouldn't document the deaths, and they wouldn't be able to spread the truth. Good try, but you can't really shut people up completely. From what we're seeing, from what is still seeping from the front lines, the losses are huge. Actually, you don't even have to get to see that information. Just go to any large cemetery in Russia and count fresh graves of soldiers. About a year and a half ago, Russian government forbade provincial media to report military funerals. They were reported with fanfare. Oh, our hero died, and it was in the newspapers and so forth. But then there was an order came from Moscow. Don't do that anymore, to keep people calm. But in reality, to make it more difficult to count the dead. So we know that the men losses are huge. We also know that hidden mobilization continues, but it's not as intense. It doesn't produce as many people as it did before to replace dead soldiers. On the other hand, Russian army is still potent. It didn't let the Ukrainians to push the counteroffensive in the summer and fall of last year, 2023, and now it's trying to push into Ukraine, further into Ukraine. It's pushing, very small steps, but it's potent. It still exists. It's out there, and there are people, there are soldiers in the Russian army. We still get reports of huge losses every single day. Mostly from Russian Z reporters operating in the front lines. Sometimes they get mad of huge amounts of unnecessary losses, okay? So where do people come from? And this is exactly what no one wants to talk about, even to think about. Many Russian men join the Russian armed forces and go fight in Ukraine to kill regular people, Ukrainians, at their own will. They sell themselves for a few coins. Most die quickly. I'm sure that the armed forces have very precise statistics on that, but it's made top secret for obvious reasons. Many people know about that. It's not like we don't know precise numbers, but we know that those who go fight, they die quickly. But Russian men still sign up and still go. And also, hundreds of thousands of men killed. And there is no anger in the society. No wives, mothers, daughters, sons stand up and protest in huge numbers. And the society as a whole is not angry. Why? Right here is where in my world, the dots fail to connect. I'll explain you why. I have finally figured it out. And like I said, it's not going to be pretty. Let me take this opportunity to have a sip of English breakfast tea. Ask you to like this video because it's been a very hard video to make, very hard live stream. So thank you. I appreciate you liking it. It helps to spread the message more, and I want more people to learn about that. And using this opportunity, I would like to thank everyone who comes and watches my video. I would like to thank you who support, who likes, who writes messages, who sends me emails, who prays, who sends good words. You know, it's not easy these days. Between all this immigration problems that we're having and, you know, this not feeling well really lately, and demonetization, YouTube still demonetizes me. It's actually quite unbelievable. There's very weird reports coming from Google. I've found a few people on the inside, and hasn't been helpful so far, but I'm more confused than ever. So I'm still demonetized. So, but it doesn't matter. Monetized or demonetized, I still go in front of the camera every single day, and I have so many ideas I'd like to share. So please keep on tuning in. I promise you that I will not stop as long as I can physically think, analyze, speak, which I couldn't 6 weeks ago with Bell's palsy, but that's a different story. I would like to thank everyone who buys coffees, sends money, PayPal, becomes patron on patreon.com. Thank you, friends. Thank you. Thank you for all who praise and sends love. I really feel it. So now let's get back to this very hard topic. The Russian government has come up with a brilliant and evil idea. It has come up with a commercial contract. And this commercial contract, this concept, is what has been keeping Russian army alive. What has been keeping it potent enough to not to fall back, to even try to push forward, potent enough to kill Ukrainians, potent enough to bomb Ukrainian cities, villages, towns. The key concept is the commercial contract. Russian government started buying men. Instead of just mobilizing, instead of hunting them down, instead of trying to lure them in by saying, oh, you know what, this is your duty to fight for your motherland, to protect your motherland, and so forth. Instead of all that, they started buying men. They started paying pretty penny. Quality of men who sign up, make a conscious decision to sign up and go take up arms and kill people in Ukraine is usually bad. They're not soldiers. Russian army takes anyone in any health condition of pretty much any age up till 60. One of my distant relatives served. He was mobilized and he was 62 at the time. So that's a real case. Quality of the soldiers, they're not professional soldiers. They are, most likely plumbers, electricians, janitors, security guards, and so forth. But it doesn't matter, because there is a place for them in the Russian army. They are called the meat. They are given guns and sent to storm Ukrainian land. And they get killed quickly. But still, they kill Ukrainians, and their commanders try to push with sheer mass of humans. Now, at first, when the Russian government started mobilizing people, us, back in 2022, they started paying compensations only for the killed ones and the disabled ones, and the families would get compensation after the fact. That was how they were trying to, not to get people too angry. Because you get some kind of help from the government. I know it sounds very odd for people in the West, but don't forget that human life, has much lower price in Russia than in the Western countries, okay? And that's one of the key differences between my country and your countries. So at first they were just paying for the killing of a man and or him becoming disabled. They were trying to, like I said, lure with ideological crap like, oh, it's time to defend your motherland. The enemy is all around, and they're trying to strip us of, destroy our sovereignty, and so forth. And that didn't work well. Vladimir Putin's rating dropped in the late 2022 a great deal, and people started getting angry. Then Russian government came up with a brilliant idea. It continued to have all this ideological crap as a foundation, but on top of that, it added money. It added advanced payments. Now, if a Russian man signs a contract and is willing to go and fight in Ukraine, he gets money up front. Advance. It depends on which province a person signs up, man signs up. It varies from 1.2 million to 3.5 million. That's provincial money, the local money, and he gets 400,000 on top from the federal government. For a lot of Russians, that is the amount of money unseen before. Okay? 14 provinces right now are paying over 2 million rubles as a sign-up bonus for a military contract, and 27 provinces are paying from 1 to 2 million, anywhere from 1 to 2. And add 400,000 as the federal money on top. So you get paid first. Then you work for the money. You know what you're working for. You know what you're fighting for. You know who you're killing for. For that money that you received when you put your signature on that piece of paper. If one Russian man survives 1 year in Ukraine after signing a contract, he receives anywhere from 3 to 5.5 million rubles. And if, let's say, an average man working as a security guard or a factory worker, not in the military industrial complex, or janitor, something like that, even a plumber, that's not considered, that they are not highly paid jobs in Russia. So in this case, a man in 1 year earns worth of 137 months of salaries, 11.5 years if he worked at a regular job, earning 40,000 rubles. You see, it becomes, instead of just regular job, it becomes investment money. Older heads of, this is how many sign-up procedures happen these days in big cities. It's not just men come but it's usually older men in their 30s, 40s, and sometimes 50s. And they don't come alone. They come with whole families. And the family sees how, the father or husband signs a contract and gets the money. And they all know that he possibly exchanges his life for a house or apartment, a car, and a good life for a long time for a Russian family. Not just they get money, but they get bonuses, like they can, the men who serve in the war in Ukraine, their children can get free education, and they're first in line. Basically, colleges cannot deny them. They must admit them and provide education and things like that. They get more bonuses. Money and bonuses. When mobilization happened, that the society had a feeling that something unfair was going on. They were trying to sell this idea of the motherland, protecting the motherland, paying your duty to the motherland, protecting your comrades and so forth. But it didn't work well. It worked to some extent, but wasn't much. And that model led to increased anger. Like I said, Vladimir Putin's rating fell down, and people started getting angry. The approval ratings went down. The feeling was, we sacrifice our lives, we risk our lives for nothing, for this bogus idea that you're trying to sell us, and you mobilize us forcefully. We have no choice, because you hunt us down. You handcuff and put us into buses and then send us to the mobilization centers. Damn you. That's what was the idea back then. And then they changed the model. The government, very smart people work in the Russian government. That I can tell you. They come up with a combined model. You still go fight for the motherland, and that part hasn't disappeared. You're still a hero. You're still a defender of your people, your family, and other families too. But that's ideological wrapping, But now it's combined with money. Do you see what's happening here? Russian government started giving Russian people choice. It is your decision to sign up, and the decision of the entire family. If you sign up, it means you made a conscious decision, you talk to everyone in your family, and you get compensated in advance, and handsomely. $40,000, $5.5 million rubles. That's a lot of money. And if you get killed, well, you knew the risks. We do not hide the possibility of you getting killed there. It's very dangerous in Ukraine. Many people have been killed. Many people have been crippled. But you have no right to complain, to protest. We'll even give your family much money, much more money, another $70,000 if you get killed, and we'll pay for your funeral. We'll take care of everything. And you know what? That's where it gets insanely bizarre. Shockingly enough, that model started working in Russia. Regular Russian people, poor people, have accepted it, and there are plenty of poor people in Russia. They started signing up, and the society is seeing it from the very same angle as the families and as the government. Yes, many Russian men are killed in Ukraine, but it was their choice. They signed up for lots of money. Let's say our neighbor died in Ukraine, was killed. Hey, we don't feel sorry for him. We don't feel sorry for his family. He went there for the money. He was earning money. My husband didn't go. I didn't let him, or we decided, we all made a decision not to go. He's still alive. He's right here. He's with me every night. We are poor, but he's alive. But we don't feel sorry for the neighbor who's dead. Look, his wife cashed out. She's swimming in money right now. She's driving a new car. You know, they're moving into a new apartment. That's a deal they made. At one hand, Russian society is militarized. On the other hand, you don't have to if you don't want to. Don't sign up. Just keep quiet and don't protest. And we'll leave you alone for now. You see what they've done? They have designed a way to keep getting people and sending them right into the meat grinder without the society getting upset. And people signing up to do that. At the same time, no one is getting angry because to them it's a fair deal. Remember a year ago there was a movement, Bring Our Men Home, of mothers, daughters, and wives of those men mobilized forcefully back in 2022 when I was fleeing mobilization. That's what I told you. They were hunting us down. They're doing manhunts. They would come and get entire villages, all the men they could find. So the mothers and the wives and daughters of those mobilized men organized and started protesting. And they had a moral right to do that because their men didn't want to go. They didn't want their men to go. Their men were forced. They were taken. That movement has been squished by both whips and carrots. Whips, of course, are prison time, and carrots is money. Protesting women were offered both, and we haven't heard much about them since. Most likely, most of their men are dead now, and it's been over 2 years now. What are the chances of them surviving in Ukraine? I think very slim. So those women protested, and we all heard their protests. I made a live stream about that, but the rest of women, mothers, daughters, wives, are silent. Putin mentioned in one of his speeches that over 700,000 Russian men signed up, joined Russian military, and went to Ukraine. They are getting paid to fight in Ukraine and to kill Ukrainians now. Over 100,000 Russian men. Where are those 700,000 Russian women? Their wives, their mothers, are they protesting? They're not, because they have no moral right. Their men made conscious decision to take guns and go kill Ukrainian people in exchange for a coin. And most likely, women behind their men, wives, mothers, daughters, they were part of that decision, and they are definitely enjoying the money. The money most of them had not seen ever in their lives. They were able to pay off credits that they had, buy new homes, apartments, cars, large screen TVs, and hey, having money is nice, And this is the dark truth that no one wants to talk about. Russian men willingly take up arms and go kill their neighbors. With only one reason, because they get paid. They have sold their souls to the devil. Well, let's be honest here. That's exactly what it means. And of course, Russian government has tempted them. It has created this system that makes it so tempting, lures you in, offers you incredible goodness. It offers you to become the hero of your family, of your kids, of your wife. It offers you an opportunity to provide to your family the help, support that you have not seen before. They have not seen before. Incredible riches, okay? And that is a temptation. But it's still their decision. No matter how tempted you are to sin, you make decision. You are always in driver's seat. I'm thinking of my son, Michael. Suppose he was 20 years old now. How would I feel if he had come to me and my wife Natasha and say, hey, I'm going to sign up and get $30,000 up front tomorrow. And I'll give a great deal of it to you, my dad and my mom, because I want you to live nice, better than you live in now. What would I do? Folks, I would not let him. He would do that only over my dead body. And I am absolutely serious about that. And I'm doing absolute hardest, the best I can, to raise my son in a way that he would never even think of exchanging his soul for money. That for him, that would not be a choice. Never, never. That is one of the goals, the purposes of me as father, raising my son. I am scared. I'm scared because over 700,000 Russian men, my people that I grew up alongside, my generation, give or take, have turned into monsters. Somehow their parents have failed to teach them not to exchange their souls for money. All these things I talk about, Russia's future, what to do to fix it, how to help Russian people and so forth, how to fix those 700,000 people or whatever is left out of them, because they will come back. What to do with them? They will come back monsters. How to fix them? How to help them? And do they even need help? And these are very scary questions. I do not have answers at this point. The only thing I have is bravery to talk about that other people are not talking about. They don't, like I said in the beginning, they shut me down. It's too painful even to think about it, let alone talking. Well, friends, now you know one of Russia's darkest secrets so far. Thank you. I would like to invite everyone to live stream chat. We have about 20 minutes. I'll try to answer questions. Let me know what you think of my today's live stream, whether you found something interesting, useful for yourself, or you didn't. So I'd like to know. Thank you. Please hit the like button, because it's a very tough stream to make for me. Just give me a second here. I'm turning the live stream chat on. I would like to remind you that I think it's very important to know the news that come out of Russia daily. And I select 9 news carefully that I think very important. I put my comments and analysis, and I make these news available to patrons on patreon.com. Patrons of Inside Russia. So if you want to stay on top of things from Russia, now you know where to look. I'm going to put the links down below. And the live stream chat is on. Thank you so much. Again, friends, it hasn't been the easiest live stream for me to make. I'd like to remind everyone that tomorrow there will be weekly a news update from Russia. Crazy news. They're definitely crazy. They're definitely crazy. And today, also, perhaps tomorrow, early in the morning, I'll make a short video about Russia just hit Ukraine with a ballistic missile for the first time. And Vladimir Putin, minutes ago, he came up and he made a statement. Basically, he said, watch out if you keep on hitting us with the Western-made rockets, we'll be hitting you with something big. So I'll make a video about that. That's very important. I have not heard his speech yet. Just came out minutes before I started the live stream. Just gets crazier and crazier. That's all I gotta tell you. So I would like to remind you that Inside Russia is a great community, and it has the best moderation team: Lorna, Mami K, Bob S, Harry Potman, Amir Fazat, and Dirk. Thank you, friends, for coming. And the usual fantastic suspects, fantastic to see everyone. Thank you for coming. Thank you for giving me a chance. If you want me to see your comments or questions easier, please put in all caps and put Inside Russia after @sign. That way your comment or question is highlighted in orange. Much easier for me to see. Thank you. Just like Harry Potter did. Thank you, Harry. Lorna, Mommy, Leitmotiv, howdy. Bowie, Maryland is online. Sherleaf, Terry, Denise Abbott, George Rames, Scott Nesbitt, Royal Oak, Roy Cousins from London, Pamela, Sam the Legend K, Lilith Eden, Baker Stoke, Ferrari Guy, long time no see. Good to see you. Thank you for coming back. Wow, Marinos, Andrew Hodson from South Africa, Lustranda, howdy. Jen Moran, Kermo, Steffi, howdy, howdy. Airborne Snail, long time no see. Milkarn from Sweden, Radar Cortex, Angela Tracy, Aspen English, also long time no see. Good to see old friends here. Leg crits. Anyway, jump into the questions. Looking for the ones in caps and highlighted in orange. Milkarn, been following since your video on the 3rd stages of Russia, but never chatted before. Well, it's glad that you joined the chat. It's really good to see and to speak to people or to communicate with people who actually watch. Thank you so much. One day the Putin regime will crumble. Definitely. It's hands down, I agree with you. Radar Cortex, Ray and Rachel in Texas. That's very sad. Thankful Michael will not have to go through a choice like that. He will not. I will do my best. I've been doing my best. Over my dead body. This is not right way to live, okay? People tell me, oh, Konstantin, we hope that it's over and Russia makes peace with Ukraine. You go back to live happy life in Russia. Tell me how. Please tell me how. How will I live with those people who will come back from Ukraine? How will I look at them? How will I shake their hands? How will I work with them, do business with them, ride in buses with them? I don't understand how. I'm sorry. Anyway. Sometimes I just sit here and, my world is kind of like falling apart around me. And It's a pretty sad feeling. Terry, thank you for the good words. Aspen English, I've been told firsthand from my friends that people in Russia really think they're saving them from Nazis. Like, what the heck? Well, not too many people think that they're saving them from Nazis anymore. I mean, come on, give me a break. I think it's just more and more people considering Ukrainians enemies just for the heck of it, because hey, the war's been going on for 2.5 years. They've been killing us, we are killing them. That's how it goes. All that Nazi nonsense, all that we want to demilitarize Ukrainian government, we're not against Ukrainian people, we're a Ukrainian government. That's in the past, okay? Things are changing. Ragnar Anderson from Finland, howdy. Royal Oak, so you lost faith in your people, like completely. You just served me a blow, you know? An uppercut. I can't tell you. There are still good people in Russia. Not everyone goes and signs up and takes a gun and goes to kill Ukrainians. Not everyone. I mean, Russia is what, 140 million people? There are 70 million men among them, and only 1% have signed up. So 99% haven't. I'm very confused. I have lots of anger inside me about Russia and Russians. I have a feeling that they have betrayed me, that they've chewed me up and spat me out. The government, but with silent approval of Russian people. I can't say that I've lost faith completely, because if I did, I mean, everyone has a chance for forgiveness, including those Russians who sign up and go fight in Ukraine. Everyone has a chance to repent. Jesus forgives, you know. Who am I not to forgive them? But it's hard. It's very hard, you know. Lucas, Constantine, I see one big problem with this war. The whole Europe is not fighting the disinformation battle enough, and we're slowly losing it. My country, Slovakia, is fudged up. Lucas, that's how I'm feeling too, somewhat. I'm obviously not in Europe, but I see that. I don't see how Europe is losing, but I kind of see it from the other side. I see how effective Russian propaganda is, and I see how they're winning. I see how they're spreading their lies and poisoning information, and that poison seeps into people's minds. That I do see, and again, I don't know what to do. Scott Nesbitt, the people do evil thing for money. Not sure anyone does lots of crazy things for money. It's the people or it's the money made by the government. Scott, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean. Sorry, I'm a bit slow today. What really shocks me is that I know that people do bad things for money. I mean, it's a real world we live in, right? But 700,000 men doing atrocious thing for the money, taking guns and going to kill people they don't know, who haven't done anything to them, for the money. That really shocks me. Surely, if you approve, you must be one of the ones to return to your homeland and make it better place for other people's children, if nothing else. You know, friend, so much anger I have. They've, perhaps in the future, I can't rule out anything in my life, you know, but not today. Not today. I am so angry with them. Not a good feeling to have, by the way. It's kind of like consumes you from the inside, burns you from the inside, but Konstantin Dichev, Tyoska, howdy. Big respect, brother. Keep speaking the truth and standing strong. If I don't continue doing what I'm doing, who am I? A zero? What can I do? You know, besides that. So you have my word, Konstantin. I will do that. I will keep on doing that. Lustanda from Vietnam. Howdy. Good to see you. Very long way from Uzbekistan. Leitmotif and for Russian women. I'm holding out for a hero by Bonnie Tyler. Or from Shrek. Yeah. Royal Oak. Well, I answered this question. I can't say I lost faith completely, but I'm just freaking shocked and how to describe it in English. I don't even know how to describe it in Russian, to be honest with you. I'm destroyed by what I'm seeing. When I had this struck me like a bolt of lightning not too long ago when I decided to make a stream about it right away. This is a new social contract. This is a new normal in Russia. Yeah, sell your soul for 20 grand, 50 grand, whatever. But don't complain. And your family can't complain if you get killed or if you come back in a box or if you come back, you know, without hands or feet or legs or whatever. Don't complain because you know what you're getting yourself into. You know exactly what you're doing. Yes, we'll take care of you. We'll give you some money. I want to ask these people who sign up and fight in Ukraine, how many people did you kill in Ukraine? Why'd you kill them? What did they do to you? I would like to hear those answers, you know. Per Hanglid, howdy, from Sweden, Stockholm. Helen KP. Trust me on that, it's pretty hard for me. Very hard. Ron Gravel, is anyone protesting this loss of life? Like I said, no one is protesting. I made so many points in the stream. My friend, did you miss it? Or perhaps I made myself not very clear? That was one of my key points. No one is protesting because they have no moral right to protest. They were paid. Guy, yes, howdy, friend. That's exactly, you know, exactly, you're exactly right. Hey, by the way, you made a good point about Su-25P that I talked about yesterday. If you could provide some Western review, I've researched a lot about that plane, okay? And, well, obviously I'm not an expert in aviation, but from what I've read, Russians built a very formidable fast interceptor, and the Americans were very, very surprised how Russians could achieve the characteristic with so little advancements, very little advancements in electronics and so forth. So it was kind of that kind of a breakthrough. If you could direct me where to look more about Su-25, I'd really appreciate it. Terry Carter, howdy. Pulaski, Virginia, as always. Big question is, what price for husbands, fathers, or sons for war? The elite start. I'm not sure what the question is. What price for husbands, fathers, or sons for the war the elite start? What price? Why, this is the price, I told you. They get paid anywhere from 2.2 to 3.5 millions, right? Something like that. So that's from 25, let's say 25 to $35,000 upfront to sign up, and they get paid $2,000 every month. So in 1 year, they have a possibility to make up to $5,500, or $50,000, and that's unheard for a regular Russian. That's huge money. And if a Russian gets killed, his family supposedly gets 7 million, which is $70,000. But the Russian government has been tricking people lately. They do not send papers, oh, he was killed. They say he is missing in action, therefore they don't have to pay. And I think they're also paying for a person losing for disability. It's like $30,000, something like that. And can you imagine Russian men find it worth to risk their lives and worth to go and kill others for that kind of money? The fudge. Elsha, what will happen to all the widows? All these childless families? Nothing. They will spend all the money, and they'll do it very quickly, because that's one of the problems. Those people get their hands on, let's say, $50,000. That's a lot of money, a pile of cash. Are they going to invest? Are they smart with money? Do they have a lot of experience of how to deal with money, how not to burn money? No. They're usually very poor, and once they get their hands, they start going out, eating at expensive restaurants, buying electronics, televisions, buying new clothing, perhaps buying cars. And trust me, $50,000 doesn't go a long way in Russia. I mean, you can't even buy a decent apartment in Moscow. 200,000, that's how they start, what they start with. Okay, in a city, let's say Rostov, you can buy an apartment, okay, but that still doesn't. You buy an apartment, buy a car, and then a few months of frivolous spendings, and that's it. You're done. You go through the money. That's they're gonna be left, living miserable lives. That's what they're gonna do. Amir. So basically, they're baiting people into being mercenaries. How sad that people would fall for that old trick. Very sad. It's not. I mean, everyone has to ask question inside. Question himself inside. Am I ready to take a gun and go be ordered to go kill people? That's plain and simple. Okay. I can't imagine that there's so many Russian men. Again, that's the people I grew up along with. They used to be okay. They used to seem okay. They used to be normal. I mean, if you needed help on the street in Russia, people probably would help you if you asked for help. And now they just take guns, and get paid to kill other people. That's the choice they're making inside. And that's their choice, It's the government is just, like I said, it's luring them in, it's tempting. Devil always tempts you. And it's your choice whether to sin or not, whether to fall for the temptation. Ron Gravel, other North Korean troops coming in, are they defecting? Well, I have heard, I don't know, but I have heard that a few thousand, I think either 4,000 or 6,000 North Korean troops are in Kursk fighting Ukrainians in the front lines, or perhaps close to start fighting Ukrainians. They're just rumors. Obviously, they're not confirmed. Most of them coming from the Ukrainian side. Russians are denying everything, of course. If the North Koreans start defecting, we will learn very quickly from the Ukrainians. I have not seen one single case of them defecting yet. Joff, test pilot, how did the German civilians live with some of the people who came back after the war in 1945? No, my friend. Jeff, this is a very different situation. From what I understand, regular German men were not paid to go and fight in the USSR. They were mobilized. There was a mobilization announced. And just like in Russia, back in September of 2022, the men were forced, they were grabbed, they were taken and sent. And perhaps they were volunteers as well, but they volunteered for some kind of freaking ideology in their head, okay? But they were not paid money. And when they came back to Germany, no one could say, hey, you know what serves you well if you're crippled or whatever, because you made a deal with Nazis or Hitler or whatever, and then they paid you handsomely. I don't think the Germans, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that no one was paid. That is a huge difference. That's so much worse in Russia. Brian, I feel so sorry for these poor people who have been deceived, but also for the Russians and Ukrainians. Also think that Putin will not show weakness no matter what the cost of lives in Russia, Ukraine. I agree with the second part. I also think he will not show weakness. He has many opportunities. He has had many opportunities to do it. He showed weakness with last July of 2023 with mutiny, Prigozhin's mutiny. But that was it. Okay, and then he doesn't care about lives of Russia. Hang on. Something's up with my internet, I'm sorry. There you go. The most popular dating apps in Russia. How would I know? How would I know? Matthew Bianco, first time commenter. Thank you, Matt, for coming. Albany, New York. So good to see you back in good condition. That I am. Well, physically, I'm better than before because I'm rested. I was medicated. You know, my blood pressure is lower than it used to be. So thank you. Thank you. Watching for a while now. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you so much for watching. Please keep on coming back, keep on watching, and keep on liking. Thank you. Joao Morenos, I understand poverty may push people into accepting money to fight, but surely they know what is happening in the front and how many people have died. That doesn't discourage them. Wow, this is the question I'm trying to answer myself, and the best I could so far is they don't value their lives very, very highly, very much. They probably drink a lot. They have not seen much happiness in their lives. They're very poor. They're struggling every day. Most likely their lives are hell or close to hell. That's why they don't care. That's the best answer to this question I have. Marky Sog, thank you so much for good words. Marquis Neil from South Africa, thank you so much. Okay, I think it's time to wrap up. Can all women leave Russia, or is there a restriction? No. Keith, I think right now all women who are not under criminal investigation, who don't have debts, who don't have alimonies, they can leave easily. Men too, by the way. Jeff, test pilot. I don't, please keep on tuning in. I might make a stream about that, but I don't have anything to say right now. Sherleaf, thank you so much. Say hello to your parents, and thanks. I really appreciate, when you reached out to me and offered help back in August. It was really touching. I remember that. I will never forget that. Thank you so much. I've heard some stories about people being tricked in signing contracts with the army. I'm pretty sure there are some people who are tricked. I've heard of non-Russian citizens are tricked into signing contracts. But I'm pretty sure these are just exceptions to the rule. The rule is that people go in willingly, take pens and sign their signature, put their signature on the contract. And they do it with support of the families, and they know exactly what they're doing. This is what I think. RW, thank you for coming. Good to see you. Their lives are hell. I read your email, the last one you sent. Understood and point taken. Their lives are hell. This is the secret of power in Russia. Okay, friends, thank you so much for coming. It's time to wrap up today. Thank you. And we have almost 2,300 people, which is a fantastic number. I would like to invite everyone to finish this live stream by praying with me. If you're religious or not, doesn't matter, please. Let's do it. Let's send good wishes and good energy to people. Dear Lord Jesus Christ, thank you so much for everything you've given us. Thank you for the food you've provided. Thank you for the roofs you've given over our heads. Thank you for our families and the loved ones that you surrounded us with. Thank you for our children. Please give us wisdom to keep the skies above our children's heads peaceful and safe and blue. Please give us wisdom to raise our children so they become good people when they grow up. They will never fight in any war, and they will just help each other, love each other, and be friends with each other. For now, please keep our children safe and healthy. Dear Lord, I would like to ask you for Ukraine, to help Ukraine, to stop the bloodshed. Please help every single person affected, answer their prayers, make their wishes come true, and please reach out and touch the hearts and souls of those who are responsible, capable of making that decision, responsible for the decision to stop bloodshed. Remind them that they're still human beings. Touch their hearts. Wake them from the lethargic sleep they're sleeping. Please have them make the decision to bring peace to Ukraine. Help my country, Russia. Assemble your strongest angels with sharpest swords, and please have Saint Michael lead this army to the earth and get rid of the demons who have hijacked my country, who we know by their names and by their faces. Please send your angels to help good people to run Russia. Make it peaceful, respecting, and loving. Please help those who are traveling, send them safe travels. Help those who are in trouble of any kind right now in high waters. Please send help. Please help those who are seeking for asylum, whose lives are up in the air. Please help them. Send good people their way. Please help single mothers and fathers who are struggling raising their children, trying to make ends meet. Please help those who are helping Ukrainians. Please help Ukrainians who are currently under attacks from Russian missiles and weapons. Send angels to keep everyone safe. Please help those who are sick, addicted, hungry, cold, homeless, jobless, who are crying, who are losing their faith, who are feeling alone in this world, who are feeling cold and abandoned, who are betrayed. Please help everyone who is in need. Thank you so very much for this community, and thank you for allowing us to come together and pray. Thank you for everyone who's praying along with me or simply watching us pray. Make everyone's wish come true and answer everyone's prayer. Dear Lord, I would like to ask you to help people who need help. They are Holy Bee, Highwaymen, Pamela, Ann Larson and her daughter Hannah, Jeffrey S. and his family, Alex, Mark, Tom W., J.R. McKim, Gabing with Gary, Lisa, Harry and his family, Terry, John McLean, Linda, Paula W., Dennis, Jason Carney, Susie, Tim, Dory, Rhonda, John, Taylor, Wayne, Dave, Don, Darla, George Ruberty, Pamela, Meta, David Porter, his family and everyone in Chernovtsi Life, Randolph, Grace, Dean Spooner and his church, Yelena, Natasha, Michael, Jake, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Svetlana, Sergey, Liz, Ron, Liz, Koshkin Dom, Sandra, Mike and Mike, Petra, Joseph, Melissa, James, Jodes, Millie, Philip, Eileen, Victor, and Renate. Thank you so much, dear Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Friends, thank you for coming and spending this time with me. Thank you for giving me a chance to share my opinion. Thank you. I would like to remind you that you're awesome and you rock. And please come back tomorrow. I'm preparing a weekly news update. It's been quite a while. News in Russia, oh, crazy. So I think you're gonna like it. And I'm gonna put quite a bit of sarcasm tomorrow. Thank you for coming again. And as usual, before I sign off, I'd like to ask you to say out loud with me, as loud as you can, the following. Carthago delenda est.